everyone, and welcome to Boogie Mama Riffs. Today we're going to be doing a review on the SG, the actual 5 myths about the SG Twin Neck. Recently there's been, well, a little while ago, late last year, Jimmy Page brought out the signature series of the Gibson SG Double Neck. This isn't one of those, but I'll get to that in a sec. I wanted to get one, and I sent the video to one of my mates and I said, hey, this is what I want for my birthday. He goes, yeah, me too. Talking about the Jimmy Page signed SG Double Neck series. I think there was only a certain number made, and my mate said, yeah, I want that for my birthday too. And I go, I wonder how much they are. And he said, I'd have to sell the house. So I looked it up. I think it was something like 20 or 50k in US dollars. So I found the only one I could find here in Australia, and it's one of my dream guitars, if not my dream guitar, and it's the SG Twin Neck. It's a copy of it, and I just want to go through 5 myths now about the SG Twin Neck. Number 1 myth about, and we're saying whether they're true or not, so if I name it doesn't mean it is a myth. I'm just dispelling fact from fiction, or is it a myth, yes or no, basically. So number 1 is, the myths about the SG Twin Neck is they're heavy. Yes, they're heavy. First day I ordered it, I normally don't order guitars online, you know, I like to play it and see how it goes before I do it. But this time, the only way I could get one of these in Australia was to order it online, and it arrived in the rain on a Saturday morning on an angle against the bricks, and I just grabbed it, got out of the rain, or it was in a box obviously, but got out of the rain, got out of the case and plugged it in and made a video, and you can see that on my website. It's me trying out this SG Double Neck as soon as it came out of the box. That's on my channel. I'll put it in the playlist here. And so yes, they are heavy, but like I said, I got out of the box, put a strap on, played it. But the first time I played it at band rehearsals, we auditioned a bass player, or it was a bass player's audition, and I pulled out the SG Twin Neck, and he said, I've never seen anyone with such professional gear before. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's only a copy, but anyway. And I thought I was going to play the whole practice with it, you know. And I played, I don't know, about 5 or 6 songs maybe, and I said to the boys in the band, look, can I have a break from this thing? It's super heavy. So, and my drummer said, well, mate, you did well, you did a few songs with it, but yeah, she's heavy. So when I told my guitar tech, Bob, hi Bob, he said to me, well, you're not meant to play the whole gig with it, mate. You're just supposed to, it's an item piece, basically what he said. So I'm saying, you know, Jimmy Page, when he played it live, he would do, say, 2.5 or 3 songs maximum with it, and then he'd come back later on in the gig and use it again. So yes, they are heavy, I'll give you that. Myth number 2 is, they're hard to tune. Well, I use one of these clip-on tuners here. I find them pretty accurate. And the thing is about an SG Twin Neck is when you tune it, you only have to put this on one of the necks, because it's all, the sound resonates from, you could be tuning the 6th string and it will resonate up to here for the tuner and still be in as good as perfect tune. And so I just clip it on that one, but you can tune both necks with just the one tuner up here. And trying to dispel one of the myths that these are hard to tune, well, what I do is I basically start here, put the tuner on the neck here, turn it on, then I'll start tuning with this E string, and then I'll go down, and then, but if I have to get in there, this is one of the myths people say, it's too hard to tune a guitar through this chasm here. Well, I can get my hand in there, you know, if I have to tune it, I can tune it there, so I don't know what the problem is there. And then you've got your 12 string, of course, which are known for being a little bit tricky to tune. But if you use one of these tuners with a chromatic setting and just get the needle right in the middle for every one of these 12 strings, if you've got it set up decently, it should stay in tune. And then when I'm tuning, I'll do my 12 string this way too. So when I tune my 6 string, I'll start with the high E here to the low E, and then I'll tune the 12 string the same way from the high E down to the low E, that way. So when I'm tuning these, I just do one. I know this is not to do with myths, but this is just a guitar teaching channel, that if you just do one string at a time in order, that one, then move your finger down that one, then that one, then that one. I don't have a guitar pick, but they sound the same. And then do, hey, is that a myth they're hard to tune? No, just joking. So you go through these strings, and then I do these strings up top, so they're easy. So some people say it's a bit close, maybe some of the other models are a bit closer, but I don't see any problem tuning there. You know, you should be tuning before you go on stage anyway. Myth number 3, the strap slips. Okay, this part I had to figure out. So here, I'm not saying you heard it first here on Boogie Mama Riffs, but there is a solution. A lot of people who play SGs, a Gibson SG single neck or a SG bass, sometimes you'll find that when you have a strap on, you let go and it does the ZZ Top thing. Goes like that. So you play like that, it's okay until you try to switch necks and it goes like that. So what happens is the strap is slipping here because it's out of balance. So I went to a couple of music stores and they just said, you have to live with it, that's life or something. I'm thinking, nah man. And some young dude. And then there was a person at another store, they just said, oh, just use ChatGPT and look for the answer. So I thought, they're a great help. So I went home, did the ChatGPT thing, didn't work. And so I called my guitar tech, Bob. Hey Bob, again. He said, well, what you need to do, mate, is just get a shoelace or a piece of string and tie it around here on the top neck. And so I tried it for a while. I took it to band practice with the shoelaces. So you got your strap here, ends there, and then there's a shoelace holding it around here. I tried it at practice, but when I'm playing in my band, I'm playing lead and rhythm, sometimes bass when we didn't have a bass player, and I was singing at the same time. So that's one of the things you could probably put in the myths here, is a lot of people don't mention that when Jimmy Page played this, he didn't sing. So singing and playing with this can be a little bit tricky. So what I did with the strap, because I want to stand up and play and sing, and I didn't want the guitar going like this, doing that ZZ Top show thing they do, you know, it goes down kind of like a pendulum like that as soon as you let it go. So I called my guitar tech, Bob, and he said, put the piece of string on. I tried that and had the strap here. It's a bit like Elvis Presley had when he had a twin neck, and it didn't feel right for me to sing and play and have this strap here. And so I bumped into one of my mates who's he's called the Second Guitar Shop in town, but he's not actually a guitar shop. And he said, no mate, I've got a strap that'll stop that slipping. So we went over to his house, I tried another strap and put it on. He said, that one's got a bit more grip, and guess what it did? Slipped down again. I'm like, man. And he goes, oh, all you got to do is drill a hole, and he said, and move the nut. So the nut was originally here. And as you can see, it's like a pendulum or a clock. No wonder it swings from that axis point, if that makes sense. See, that's where the original nut was, here, right here. And then, so my mate Pete had the idea that if we move the nut, which was here, up to here, that will solve it. So we did it. But he said, I haven't got the tools, so we went down to the local music shop, and I said, yeah, well, the guy asked me to chatbot GPT, had already been that shop, and he said, oh, well, do you want me to go down with you? And so Pete came down, went into the music shop, and he goes, hey, can you have a look at this twin neck for us? And I opened it up, and everyone in the shop's going, wow, that's Jimmy Page's guitar he played Stairway to Heaven on, or something like one of the customers said. And then, so Glenn, hi Glenn, at Royce Music, he drilled the hole in the back here where Pete said to do it. So we moved the nut, this is the nut, we moved the nut from here to here, like Pete thought was going to fix it. We put it on the shot, and guess what happened? Did it again. So Glenn, he's a pretty good technician in my opinion. I just want to give him a shout out. Royce Music, Toowoomba, Glenn was able, he had an idea that rather than having here where it's originally the nut, and then we tried it here, and Glenn said, no, that's going to make it worse. So Glenn's idea was to put here, and guess what? We put it on, even with one of those straps that are a little bit slippery, and guess what? She stayed. And I did my first rehearsal with the band since the strap's been fixed last weekend, and I did about 6 or 7 songs with it, and then it started to get a bit heavy, but it stayed. You can let go and it stays. Might not sound like much, but I hope that's a tip that's going to help someone. And also you'll notice Glenn's recommended I put a strap lock on here. So this is just one of those rubber ones that you can, you put your strap on, like take this off of course, put your strap on, and put this thing over, the rubber thing over top, and it's just like a strap lock, just stops it popping out the back. And number 4 myth about SG Twin Necks is they're hard to play. Why are they hard to play? Like, this thing is a beast, in my opinion, from day one. Like, I've played them before, don't get me wrong, I didn't get out of the box and learn how to play this thing. I've played them over the years, but the dream never manifested. So to me, in my opinion, are they hard to play? Nah. But one of the things is, you'll notice, say with someone like Jimmy Page, he'll play a song on the Les Paul live, and he'll play the same song, like say Sick Again. He'll play that on the SG Twin Neck on the 6th string, and you'll notice, or even whatever other song Page is doing on the 6th string, you'll notice Page, he might play the solos a little bit different, or just some of the ways he plays it. Even though Jimmy Page plays every song different, you just notice he's got a different feel to the song. Of course he has. You've gone from playing a single neck, say Les Paul, let's say, or whatever guitar you're playing, to a twin neck guitar, so your style is going to change a little bit. You know, sometimes, I must admit, when we're dispelling this here, sometimes, I must admit, rehearsal last Saturday, I was playing, I think it was 2 frets up, or 2 frets down on the 6th string, when I was playing some power chords. So I just think that was, I'm not sure what it is. You know, sometimes you look down, and you think it's 2 frets higher or 2 frets lower than it is, so maybe I just need to get used to it. So you just got to remember, a guitar is like a new pair of shoes. You know, you're not going to go off in a running race as soon as you buy a pair of shoes. You're going to wear them in a bit. So that's what I'm doing with this guitar. She's almost worn in now, and every time I play guitar now, I'm playing this just to wear it, to basically to wear it in, to play it in. It needs to be played. So they're hard to play? No, in my opinion they're not, but you may have to change your style a little bit, and just realise that you don't have quite as high a fret excess up here as, say, a Les Paul or Ibanez or something. You don't quite have the fret access, high fret access. I can probably play up to A, say if you're playing Stairway to Heaven, I'm not going to play it, but if you're playing the lead to Stairway to Heaven, you can play A pretty well, easily, but any higher than A you couldn't. So technically, you know, some people say Page couldn't play Stairway to Heaven live quite the same, even though he didn't use a twin neck in the studio. This was a custom designed guitar that he was able to play Stairway to Heaven with live. And apparently, you know, I don't know if this is dispelling a myth, that Page didn't quite play Stairway to Heaven live the same because he didn't have the high fret excess. So I'm not sure if the SG is maybe a bit, this is maybe cut away a little bit more than the SG is. But I can definitely play an A here. And if Stairway to Heaven, and Stairway to Heaven's up in A, as far as I know, the solo of Stairway to Heaven's in A minor, so you can actually play in there, but maybe the original custom SGs weren't cut out quite as much. And finally, number 5, you need, if you dispelling myths about SG twin neck guitar, you have to buy a real Gibson one, or an or at least an Epiphone. Well, I agree, if one comes along and it's there and they're available and you can afford it, I would recommend 100% the real Gibson. My dream, as I said, was to get the Jimmy Page twin neck, the one that's signed, and Pagey also played each one of the guitars personally, a Zeppelin tune on his guitar. And when you buy those guitars, they have a signature, Pagey's signature on it, and also the guitar pick that he played the Zeppelin tunes on. Well, I think it'd be so cool, but yeah, as far as I know, there's not many of them left, if any, for sale, and yeah, that would be great. But dispelling the myth, you have to get a real Gibson or a real Epiphone. Well, this is a Hayes, and you can probably Google these if you like. What we had to do with this one, because I work with my guitar tech Bob, he gets a mention. I had the idea. He suggested we change these pickups. So I bought myself for Christmas, or early December, and then I wanted it sort of done by Christmas Eve, because I tried to travel a little way to get to Bob's, but he's worth it. He's worth the trip. And we decided to replace these, so I ordered them. These Tone Rider pickups, all four are Tone Rider pickups. It's just these are silver and these are the black ones without a case. These are Tone Rider Almico 5, if you want to write that down or remember that. Tone Rider Almico 5 pickups, and they have that Birmingham sound like Sabbath, Zeppelin, Cream, those sort of bands like that. So that's why I went with the Almico 5s, and I'm pretty happy with them. Bob did a good job, and I usually, a funny story is when I'm going to my guitar tech Bob, I'll have maybe one guitar for him and I'll drop it at his place and go through to the beach, which is another hour away, have a surf, drive back to Bob's, and on the way home I'd get my guitar, like he restring a guitar, service it or whatever. And so, same day service with Bob, and he's a good bloke, and he's affordable, and we're mates. And I had to drop this into Bob a little bit before Christmas, and I said, "Oh, Bob, so can I get it back today, the same day?" He's like, "Mate, with that guitar," he said, "it's essentially doing pickups and all the electronics and all the strings on 2 guitars." He said, "Mate, I'm going to need a week at least to do it, 10 days. So finally, Bob, he did actually do it by Christmas Eve. He restrung all 18 strings. So that's one thing my guitar tech Bob did say, that this one in particular, the 12 string, isn't easy to restring. I know we're saying tuning can be hard, but now you can imagine restringing this. But I said to Bob, it's okay, I've got someone who can restring it for me. And Bob said, yeah, he'll charge you for it too. So Bob, he's a good bloke. So this one is getting played in, but yeah, in my opinion, the Hayes, we're talking about the Hayes one, because the Hayes version of this guitar, I changed the pickups to Tone Riders. They're about 150 each, plus Bob's cost, plus the strings. I used the lightest of light electric strings here, and just the best, lightest quality Diodario strings for this one. So in my opinion, they're hard to get, a real Gibson or even an Epiphone. They're not only expensive, but also not easy to find. So in my opinion, if you can get a Hayes or some other half decent brand, but I would recommend this one, the Hayes SG Twin Neck. Well, thanks for watching today. I'm going to bring something awesome to you next time, and they were the 5 myths about the SG Twin Neck, and I hope that helped you.